Daily Broadside, day 737. Explain to me how people that work at these year-round Christmas tree ornament stores have any celebration in their heart when it comes to Christmas. Do you imagine selling Christmas stuff year-round at some touristy community, and you know you're gonna have like really slow peaks? I mean, I can't imagine February is a strong time. You're just like standing around just like wanting to just fall asleep because there's just nothing to do. But when it finally becomes Christmas, how do you muster that spirit in your heart and be like, oh, it's, and they say it's Christmas, or whatever the lyrics are, and you're just like, oh God, if I see another Christmas elf or ornament, you know, I'm gonna drive into the nearest building, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't get it. I don't understand the attraction of why they exist, nor do I understand people that, you know, want to be gainfully employed there. It makes no sense. I had some crab soup the other day, or crab chowder, I should say, and it was supposed to be award-winning. It was blah. Although it did have corn in it, I will say that added to it. It was kind of spicy, so that was cool. But I will say this: can we just all agree that nobody wants the choice between a cup and a bowl of chowder? Okay. I don't know if they do this with soup. I guess they do, but it seems to always be chowder. Do you want a cup or you want a bowl? I don't want a cup because it's not enough chowder. And sometimes I don't want a bowl because it's too much chowder. Can we just have one in-between size, a bup, a chow, or whatever the hell you want to call it, and just have one size so that when I say, can I have some chowder, they'll be like, coming right up. And they bring it in something that you know is going to be substantial enough to sustain you, but not enough to just make you feel like a glutton before your actual meal. Okay, can we agree on that? Is that too much to ask? I submit that it is not. I came up with a game show the other day. I think it would be very interesting to do. And it's, let's say you go back 10 years at a time, okay? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't ironed out all the details. Maybe 5 years, because, I mean, it really just depends on how often you eat out, okay? I eat out a lot. So I have been served by a ton of waiters and waitresses in my time, right? So let's just say 5 years for the ones that go out a lot. And basically what you have is you have a board of all the restaurants you've gone to in no specific order, just all jumbled up. And then you have all the waitresses that have served you. And they're not wearing their uniforms, you know, got somebody in a Cracker Barrel smock, you know, or anything like that. They're just in street clothes, and they all come in, you know, and you have to pick. You have to match them to the restaurant. I think that would be very interesting. I think I could get like 90% of them. I really do. I really think I could go like, all right, oh, I ate at that iron skillet at a truck stop in Ohio like 4 years ago. At the gray-haired lady, that's her. I don't remember her name. We'll call her Janet. You know, and then you're like, and then she raised her hand, and you go, oh, you got a point. And now it's your opponent's turn, and they're like, ooh, I ate at a Perkins in Minnesota. It was like 2 years ago, and I'm pretty sure it was that redheaded pretty girl over there. And they're like, bing, bing, bing. And, you know, now it's 1-to-1. I think that would be a pretty fun, challenging little event right there. You know, but, you know, it all comes down to how often you go out and how well your memory is served. The older I get, I feel like my memory's sharper, but then I forget stupid stuff. And like balcony the other day. Yesterday. I can't remember what day it was. But nevertheless, I think it'd be a fun game. The logistics of it would be difficult because surely some of those people aren't alive anymore. Surely some of them are not willing to be a contestant on the show. And arranging, you know, 50, I mean, if you did a year, I mean, that's easily close to 100 people for me a year that would serve me. Now, some of them might be repeats because I go to the same places sometimes. We could obviously knock those out, and those would be gimmies. But, you know, 100 people in a year, oh, no problem. At least 75 on a slow year, right? That reminds me, I'm tracking my alcohol usage for the year, and I'll be talking about that here in a couple months when it becomes December 31st. I was curious how much alcohol I consume in a year, and I'm going to put a dollar amount on it so that I can see, like, either, whoa, that's a lot of money. Or I can be like, no, it's not that bad. Or I could be like, man, I could have bought a tractor implement for this amount here or something like that. I don't know, but that really has nothing to do with anything. And I forgot to say two things in my diatribe yesterday about Savannah. One is, when I went into that Irish dive bar, I sat down next to a guy that, like, no joke, looked like a gray-haired Ted Kaczynski if Ted Kaczynski had had a perm instead of just, you know, matted, greasy hair, right? Because he lived in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, right? So I'm sitting there and I strike up a conversation with this dude, right? And I'm thinking in my head, like, I want to say something about him looking like Kaczynski, but it's not like, you know, like, hey, you look like Chevy Chase. And he'd be like, oh, really? Yeah, I've heard that before. And if you said Ted Kaczynski, maybe he's not into the, you know, the machines taking over and he's not into all that crap and he would be offended. So I didn't say anything. But the weird part about it was when he finally got around to introducing himself, you know, we exchanged names and he says, my name's Tad. Kaczynski. Or actually, his name wasn't Kaczynski. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure it wasn't Kaczynski. But I was like, and then I really wanted to say something to him. I wanted to be like, has anyone told you that you look like Ted Kaczynski, Tad? Because, I mean, if you took away the perm, and I don't know why you're rocking the perm, but, you know, you do you, you would really favor him really well. Then again, I don't know how many people really know who Ted Kaczynski is these days. I mean, he's been gone for quite a while. But I say that also to say this. I've only known like 4 Tads in my life, okay? I worked with a Tad for a while, you know, that was, and then there's Tad Lincoln, I think one of the deceased sons of Lincoln. I can't remember if he was the one. I think he was the one that died, one of the ones that died. I think he lost 2 children. So Tad Lincoln, and then Tad somebody played for, it was an influence on Nirvana, and I can't remember what name. He's a real heavy dude. He's some like alternative band in the late 80s, Tad something or other. And then, Tad Kaczynski, who I met in Savannah. There's only 4 Tads in there. Tad Pole, Tad, anyway. And then the second thing I was going to say is, if you look closely, I don't know what happened to my voice there. I'm going through puberty. If you look closely at the prime rib that I consumed the other night, you'll notice that there's like a prickly stuff all around the exterior. And that would be rosemary. One of the things that I don't find very appetizing. It's one of those, not seasonings, but herbs or whatever, that I just don't think brings anything to the table, you know. But it's all over the place. Well, this thing had so much rosemary. I learned that rosemary in large numbers, large quantities, basically acts like a Dorito chip on the roof of your mouth. It was like eating a box of Staples. It was horrible, right? It was, you know how like you got your Christmas tree out, and then you let the Christmas tree like stay too long, you forget to water it, and all the needles drop on the ground, and you're vacuuming up all these brown needles. If you'd have taken a prime rib and just tossed it on the ground of a pine needle strewn all about, and then just kind of rolled it in there, and it's just covered in pine needles, that's basically what I was dealing with that prime rib. So I'm eating it, and I'm like, golly! I mean, I'm spitting out prime rib, rosemary. It was very. I'm always. Manners first, but not in that situation. But so I'll just say this to say, chill with the rosemary, Georgia Queen paddle boat. It's just not necessary to have that much rosemary as you carry passengers on the ferry. But hey, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Kitty.